Great.
Great. So nice to see you, Sandeep, and thank you so much for
Yeah.
your time as well. So
No,
beginning
my
with a
pleasure.
brief introduction about Sandeep, he has been into the sales and marketing of leading the brands like Nokia, Microsoft, in India, even globally across last 13 years. He is now
Right.
building BLive, and it not like building, it has been also scaling up in a really good way. They started with an e-vehicle tourism as a e-vehicle tourism startup, and now they are expanding across the e-vehicle space. So it's a
Yeah.
pleasure having you, Sandeep.
Great. My pleasure. And yes, it's a very exciting journey. I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, yes, Sandeep, we can hear you.
Okay. So it's a very exciting journey, not only in the the industry that we are in, electric vehicles, but also the journey of entrepreneurship is very exciting. I started off, in the corporate space, and from there going into, leaving a very cushy job. It takes a lot of courage and conviction. You have to believe in yourself, and yeah, things are working out quite well at the moment.
That's great. So let's start with few questions. Like we'll take it forward with the questions. Then I'd like to hear very candid answers from your side as well, so that
Yes, sure.
folks can learn from you. And
Sure.
moving forward, you were working as leading the retail business for Nokia India, I guess, before moving on to BLive.
Yes.
So how was this transition like from a
Okay, so
very secure
I
corporate
was
job?
I was not only handling that. I After that I moved to global. So I was living in Europe for 4 years. I was in the global marketing strategy and planning team for Nokia and then Microsoft. After Microsoft acquired Nokia, I was in the global marketing strategy and planning team, handling markets across the world, and later in the product version, which is products like Xbox, Surface, I was in that team. So it was a great experience, right? But then you always have a calling, inner calling, that do you want to be comfortable in what you have achieved, and just spend the rest of your life being happy with a certain momentum that you have, or would you like to create something which actually uh, does justice to what your true potential is, right? We all have certain potential, and heart of heart, if we ask ourselves that is this the best that I can do, right? And if you think that no, I can do more, right, and you have the ability to take some degree of risk, then absolutely, that was my inner calling, and that is what drove me to take this decision.
Got it. Got it. So how were the initial days like? Because it was very managed in terms of, let's say, while being in the
Correct.
global team of
Correct.
Nokia or Microsoft, when you took the lead
Correct.
to build something of your own, which is like in a
Correct.
0 to 1 sort of stage.
Absolutely. So first of all, there are two things. One is on the emotional side, right? Uh, Being in a very protected and a secure environment, to being in a completely unprotected and unsecured environment where every day is a new day, every day is a challenge, every day you face something new. Okay, you have to believe in yourself very strongly, in what your thoughts are, what your vision is, right? So the first few days were obviously it is a bit nerve wracking when you have left a very senior role, and now you're completely on the road. You've actually moved from 100 to 0, right? And you have to build everything grounds up from there, right? So obviously, initial first few days, first period is a little nerve wracking, but that is when you need to keep focus on what your vision is. Keep looking at how you can build. So you're on ground zero. Now you start building, build the organization, build the team, build a set of investors, build partnerships, right? Keep moving towards certain milestones. So I used to live in Finland, okay, this is the global headquarters of Nokia. I was there for about 4 years. Uh, there is a saying in Finnish, right? How do you eat an elephant? Right? You eat an elephant piece by piece. It's a very silly sounding saying in Finland, but it is so true, right? Even in our corporate lives or in a startup, it can get very, very overwhelming, right? You want to move forward and there are so many things that you want to do. But the best way to overcome any kind of anxiety or any kind of challenges, take step by step. Put smaller milestones, put smaller goals ahead of you, achieve them, move forward, right? Try to overachieve them in a quicker time, move forward. So that is how me and my co-founder Samarth, both of us. Samarth also comes from a very strong corporate background. He's ex IBM. So both of us have gone through the same journey since 2018, right? when we quit ourselves. Another thing was, you take certain bets, right? In 2018, honestly, there was hardly any word around electric vehicles. It was at a nascent stage. Even today, it is at a nascent, but it's a growing stage. Now the category is on fire. So in 2018, we took a bet that we believe that electric vehicles would be the future going forward, right? How did we arrive at that? Obviously, one was when I was living abroad, so I got exposed to a lot of developed electric vehicle markets. Uh, like the Nordics, they have charging stations, they have electric vehicles, which is a high percentage of the market. And for India, electric vehicles is a no-brainer. Okay, for India, you have to switch to electric because of pollution, because of our dependency of import of fossil fuel. You have to switch to electric. You have to look at sustainable and renewable sources of energy, clean energy, and that is exactly what happened. I mean, we kept reading about the pollution issues in Delhi, in almost all cities, right? There is this challenge of pollution. There's mass traffic jams, etc. So our entire traffic system has to be redone. Right? So thankfully, what we believed in and what we sort of put as a north star, that worked. And now, as you're seeing, first time in history, perhaps, petrol and internal combustion engine vehicles are degrowing, and electric vehicles are growing, 400%, 500%. So it feels good that you placed a bet and the bet has worked, and then you obviously you start building early, so when the moment comes, then you can really leverage.
Got it. Got it. Just a bit off question. You talked about believing in ourselves, and your brand is like quite synonymous to that. BLive. So is it something which is linked, or how is it like? If you would like to take.
So the name BLive came from somewhere else. Okay, it's about being alive. Okay, uh, we have seen in our corporate lives that people, they are just surviving. They're not living. Right, being stuck in traffic. Okay, being in their 9 to 5 jobs. Okay, living in that polluted streets where there are thousands of vehicles going. So we said, be alive. Okay, so we are creating, we dream of a world, okay, where everyone can actually live and not just survive. For that, it is very important to believe in sustainability. It is very, very important to believe in a cleaner future. It is very important to live in a manner which is symbiotic in nature, right? And that's why the whole platform was called BLive, being alive, right? And we are strong advocates of sustainability. We believe in electric vehicles being a tool, being a method through which we will be driving this entire sustainability. So obviously we started with a vision. Okay, we identified certain problems, that what are the issues that are stopping people from living in a BLive manner, right? So three things that we identified. One was the issue of awareness. The second was issue of accessibility, and third was the issue of affordability. Right? These were the three key things. Now we said, okay, let's not try to address all problems at one go. Let's try to take it step by step. Let's break it down. We said, okay, first, let us get people an experience of electric vehicles, because we believe electric vehicles is the answer. But how do we get people onto an electric vehicle? So we created something called EV tourism, where people can experience a city or a town when they're on a holiday, but everything would be done on the electric vehicle. And we started that off. We started that off in Goa. Government of Goa loved it. They gave us a 20-year exclusive contract. They made us their EV tourism partner. Right? Other cities, other states, they love this idea. Hospitality partners, they love this idea that you do an experiential tour with a captain in a group. You meet people, you're enjoying, you're outdoors, right? And you're getting an experience of an electric vehicle. Right? So rapidly we got partners. We have a exclusive national contract with Club Mahindra. Okay. Similarly, we have partnerships with other brands like Taj, Marriott, Radisson, Hilton, multiple partners we have, and they all really appreciated the fact that we are doing something which is both pro consumer and pro planet. Okay, so that is what we started off with, and that is how we try to address the first problem, which is how do we address the problem of awareness. Now, once this started rolling, and now we are present in about 15 cities. We have done, in the last couple of years, we've done more than 25,000 tours. All our experiential tours done on e-bikes. These are the guys who started asking us, so okay, now I've understood what is an electric bike. How do I buy it? That led us to the second phase about accessibility. So that is where last year we created the BLive EV store platform, which is an omni-channel platform where you have a digital as well as physical stores, where all brands and different categories of electric vehicles are listed. So as a customer, you can come on to our platform. You can, choose, you can learn about electric vehicles, you can choose from, different electric vehicles and buy it either digitally or you can buy it from our stores. Okay. So that's how we have built our own connected platform. And it's a very digital driven platform where the customer journey is completely digital. And that is the customer today. Right? So that's how we have progressed from driving awareness to now driving accessibility. The third part is being integrated as we speak, which is driving affordability. So we are offering customers now easy loans, even things like buy now, pay later on electric vehicles, subscription models, leasing models, and not just to individual consumers, but also to businesses who want to shift to electric. businesses who understand that, their bottom line is getting hurt because of, the rising fuel costs. So for them, we are offering a complete customized solution where we bring in, electric vehicles, we bring in technology, we bring in charging infrastructure, we bring in easy finance, and then we are giving to them. So now hotels, restaurants, hospitality chains, distributors, they're all, corporates, they're all shifting to electric. And we feel very proud because it this is exactly what we set up to do. We set up to, our vision with which we started was we want to accelerate the rate of adoption for electric vehicles for a sustainable future. And our dream is to see an EV in every home. We want to see every home, every workplace switch to electric. And that is the vision, that is the vision that has been guiding us from the day we started BLive.
That's amazing. So moving forward, I think you went through multiple 0 to 1 journeys here, right? Starting with the EV tourism platform, then moving forward with the digital first EV marketplace, I can say, and then moving forward with other alternatives. So in the beginning stages, like as most of the folks who have joined us are from a very early stage founder perspective. So
Right.
how did you went about validating these ideas primarily, from the market? Was it like, did you approach to Goa government directly to get a 20 years exclusivity of any of that sort? Like, it's very lame, but just want to understand from your perspective, how did you approach?
Absolutely. So as a early stage startup, as a founder, you have to knock on doors. Okay. Some people use, a direct approach where they go land up, talk, do cold calling, etc. Some people use the network. Okay. Some people use LinkedIn. Some people use social media. Right. You have to, in the beginning. So the first part is proof of concept. Proof of concept or a minimum viable product is a very important part, right? And it does not require scale. So there are obviously different stages of, a startup, right? The first stage, and I'm not being theoretical, I'm just sharing my experience. The first stage is, putting down the plan. What is it you're trying to do? Why do you think it will succeed? How are you different? Okay. Why do you think this is scalable? That every part of the country, every part of the world, this can be used, right? Then after you put them, this is a scalable idea. There is some uniqueness in the idea. This idea genuinely feels part of the customer, like mobility. Like just like you have, food, clothing, shelter, your mobility. It is not an option. You need it, right? So we knew that mobility it is scalable. Everyone needs it, and that is what we are going after: clean mobility, right? So once you nail that idea, after that you go into the proof of concept. For the proof of concept, like what you asked, whatever doors you have to knock on, okay, or whatever stuff people you have to meet, be it early investors, angels, you have to meet stakeholders, partners, suppliers, that you do. So we put down a plan that for this to come alive, we will do it in Goa, because Goa is the hub of tourism. I thought, what better place to catch the customer than at a time when he is actually on a vacation. And when you're on vacation, you like to try out new things. You're more open, right? And since we were in Goa, we thought, let us take support from the government, because the government was talking about, clean energy, sustainability, eco-friendliness. And we approached them, and thankfully, there are some really, really smart and intelligent people in the Goa government, and they understood, right? There was obviously we had to go through the entire process. There's a tender, we had to apply for it, But the idea was so unique and so appealing that we could secure a long-term engagement with the government of Goa, right? And that led to a strong POC. Once that POC happened, then you have a model, right? If the model is scalable, then you start replicating it, right? And in the early stage, whenever we do that, you require the initial funds, and that is where angels come in, right? They say that the first funds comes from family, friends, and fools, right? But anecdotal, but India has that way scaled up beautifully in terms of having a very good, thriving network of angel investors. It's really, really good to see that people who are successful startup people are coming back as angel investors and supporting young startups. So we also hope that we get to that scale very soon, that where we are able to fund budding startups, promising startups, and share our journey and our learnings with them, so that they can scale up much faster and create value for the entire country. Right. So we got the support of the certain angels, and we were lucky that since we are in a smaller place like Goa, there are some stalwarts in Goa, like our initial investors, the Dempo family, the Salgaonkar family, right? They saw that there is it genuinely creates an impact what we are trying to do, and they invested in us. And everything falls into it. You got the funds, you got the idea, you got support from government, and then you get to work, right? You execute it, and once the execution goes well and you do some iteration, you say, ha, now this is scalable. Then you start scaling it across different, and then more investors come in, more people, you get traction, you get results, and more people come in, and that's how you keep scaling, right?
Got it. Got it. So eventually moving forward, when all these happened, when you got angel investment, support from the government, you had a team set up, the idea was kind of approaching product market fit, then how did you grow from this and onwards? Like, did you set any metrics for yourself that this is what we are going to do? Did you set any franchisee model? Whatever things were there, if you would like to elaborate.
Right. So as I said, put milestones in front of yourself. Okay. So our first milestone was a Goa POC. Okay. Then the next milestone was replicating this in 10 locations. Okay. After that, the next milestone is use these customers to start a e-commerce led platform where you can sell electric vehicles to these customers who are your customers and whom you have given a great experience, who know you, who trust you, right? So that's how we created milestone wise, and we went ahead one by one. So everything you can't live day to day. You need to have a slightly at least 3 years out thought or an idea that this is the direction in which you're going. I mean, it's a very dynamic world we live in, and every other day there is some disruption or the other which is coming in. But at least you know that directionally this is where we are heading. So after we hit certain milestones, we started doing certain revenue numbers. That's where support from more investors also came in, and there was this big roadblock in between, which is COVID-19. So that was a great learning experience for us, right? COVID-19 brought all our EV tourism plans to a halt, and we had planned to launch our EV marketplace 1 year later, right? But since the lockdown happened and everything came to a standstill, suddenly there was a spike in demand for electric cycles, because people couldn't go to the gym, people couldn't do exercise, and they were stuck in different parts. So they started buying more and more electric vehicles, and that too shops were closed. So they started looking online, right? So we had to advance our plans by almost a year and say, we cannot wait for another year. We have to launch now. So during that period, during the lockdown period, our team, uh, we got together and we started in-house, building this entire ecosystem of the right partners who became suppliers to our e-commerce platform. All the finance partners, loan partners, etc. They all came together, and then the BLive EV store was born. Right. So that's how we moved from one stage to another, and there also we kept certain metrics that we have to hit X number of sales per day. We have to have so much traffic coming into the store. This should be a cost per acquisition. These are the channels and touch points where we will be doing our advertising. This is how we can drive more organic traffic and content rather than having everything uh, being paid for, right? So all those things we put down and we started measuring and executing on that. So that took off. That took off really well because it almost felt that we were at the right place at the right time in a market where people were looking for electric vehicles, looking to shop online. Shops were closed. We started delivering electric cycles online, right? And once the lockdown sort of eased out, that's where we started creating physical touch points where consumers can come and actually experience electric scooters, electric motorcycles. Even businesses can come and test electric delivery vehicles and buy from them. So that's how we went about in the journey.
That's amazing. So moving forward, when you got your eventual few customers, you had the company up and running. Then eventually talking about product, how did you figure out that this is what people actually love? How did you approach product market fit?
Okay, so the product market fit, um, there were certain macro factors in it, right? Petrol prices were going through the roof, right? That contributed hugely to, and that is still contributing hugely to, growth of electric vehicles in the country. And there is no, reason to believe that suddenly petrol prices will come down in India, right? It is this situation is not changing. So Indian consumers are very smart. Okay, they understand uh, where what is the future, where things are going, and they also shift very quickly. You see how quickly India has shifted to digital forms of payment, right? Being such a huge country, in a few years we have started, even go to a pawn shop, you pay by Paytm or anything else, right? So it is that ways. Indians are very quick to respond, when they see right options. So we started seeing demand coming in from our customers. That was electric chahiye, kahan milega? Where will you get electric vehicles? Right? There are gaps because people know there is something called electric vehicles, but they don't know which is a good electric vehicle. How does the electric vehicle work? How do you charge your battery? How do you swap batteries? People knew that EVs is cheaper than petrol. That became a premise. But how do we go about it? People didn't. And that is where we came in. So we positioned ourselves as the electric vehicle experts. Okay. We positioned ourselves as the EV experts. And that really helped. So we created a lot of consumer engagement. We spoke with a lot of customers. Okay. We ran a lot of digital ads and said, would you like to buy an electric vehicle? Right. We give you choice. A lot of people, filled up forms and they responded to us. We would get thousands of queries every day, right? And what we did was, and still lockdown was on. Okay, we created a BLive studio. So the studio is just like we are doing a Zoom call. Our EV experts, they would do a Zoom call with our customers and educate them about electric, right? So you have to, this is also a lesson that you have to keep you know, you have to be very flexible. You have to keep adapting to the situation. See, who predicted lockdown? We created an opportunity out of lockdown, right? Like just like a lot of edutech companies, right? They create an opportunity out of us. A lot of home delivery, food delivery companies, they created an opportunity out of lockdown. We also created an opportunity out of lockdown, right? By using digital, by being digital, and being very closely in touch with our customers. We used to send emails, messages to all our customers. I hope you're fine. Let us know if you need any help, any support. So you started building that emotional connect with the consumers. And then in a newsletter, we'll say, you know, stay safe, stay indoors, and for all your mobility needs, right? Come to our digital store, check out our new offer. So that's where, you know, it was a lot of talking to the customers. There's a lot of engagement, just like how we are, you know, having an engagement right now, and that gave us the right insights that people wanted to switch to electric. They wanted to switch to two-wheelers. They were different kinds of customers were looking at different kinds of product, right? Smaller tier towns were more looking for electric vehicles because there the range anxiety is less rather than in bigger cities, right? So a lot of unique insights came out of all our engagement. That's how we derived that yes, people want choice, people want good products. If you can drive the right awareness and pass on the right information, you can win in this game.
Got it. Got it. So moving forward, now we have some sort of a metrics laid out. The product is there, interacting with the customer. So moving forward, how did you scale in the last few years?
So in the last not even a year, in the last 6 months, we are seeing a tremendous growth. This tremendous growth is also owing to the category moving very fast. Okay, from a few lakhs a month, now we move to few crores a month, right? And we hope to, you know, and all this has happened in few quarters, right? So we are riding on a certain momentum that is there in the category. But what we are doing is we are giving the customers what they look for. We are giving them good information. We are giving them education about electric vehicles. We are giving them easy platform to access electric vehicles. We are giving them physical touch points to access, and people who struggle to get finance loans, etc. We are giving those easy means to switch to electric, right? So these are certain things that we are doing. And when you talk about certain key matrices, right? We look at, you know, how many people we have contacted versus how many people we are converting. How many, what is our GMV, right? What is the profitability that we are driving? Because see, marketplaces always work on slightly slim margins, right? But we are building a tech platform that does not just stop at selling electric vehicles. We are there with the entire journey of the customer. So from awareness to purchase to usage. So a customer, after buying, we sell them, maintenance packages. Staying at home, your vehicle, anything goes wrong, it'll be fixed at your doorstep. On the road, if something goes, you press it and roadside assistance is provided. If you're a corporate, if you want entire in your corporate tech park, we can set up charging stations, right? So you have products and then you have services. Services bring stickiness, right? So once somebody buys a maintenance package, he will keep coming back to you, right? And that is where you can do things like upgrade, exchange. You can tell them, okay, this is the next best product. These are the accessories. These are different services, etc. And that drives stickiness. So what percentage, what is the customer lifetime value, CLV, that we are generating? What is the cost of acquisition? So the cost of acquisition keeps coming down because you're generating a higher value from the customer. So these are some of the metrics that we observe. But again, there is a lot of gut feel. There is a science to scaling up startups. but there's also a lot of emotion and gut feel that you have to go with, right? So it is not only about Excel sheets, but it is also about listening a lot to the customers and not just blindly chasing, certain KPIs. KPIs, at times can be misleading, right? And you might miss a new trend or a new disruption, which is right around the corner.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that's amazing. So really amazing to hear your whole journey starting from 0 to 1 to scaling. So we'll open up the floor for questions from their side. And meanwhile, I'd like to ask the first question in general, like what were the mistakes that you committed throughout your journey? If you would like to give us an anecdotal point of view out of that, and what could be avoided in the early stages of building a startup?
Right. So when you talk about what are the mistakes, okay. So one thing is, don't think small. Okay. Sometimes you have to be almost crazy in terms of the plans that you put ahead of yourself. Okay. Uh, Sometimes you have to, it's almost shocking that can you actually build a company this big, right? But you have to always think big in a startup. You cannot think that I'll become a small and medium business. No, you have to think how you can become really, really huge. And once you think really big, that is when your mind opens up, right? You overcome certain mental barriers that you have, right? So in our case also, we were getting success and we were growing, but perhaps in the initial stages, we also underestimated the potential of this EV market, this big explosion that is coming now. Even we underestimated, right? You see how we are growing fast, but can we be like 100x of that, which we are seeing now, right? We are almost growing 100%, almost like sometimes month on month we grow 100%, right? So it's like we're doubling your business every month. So what happens is when that kind of scale is coming, you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. The preparedness comes by thinking big. Then you plan for the right resources, right team, right enablers, right partners, right, right geography. Right now, we are not just thinking India; we're thinking global. That the tech platform that is getting rolled out, the same thing where you can buy multiple brands online for electric vehicles, that we are now planning to roll out in Middle East, Africa, and Bangladesh with the right partners. We didn't think of this. We said, why not? If it is a tech platform which is getting traction, why can't the same thing be, rolled out in different parts of the world? Right? So you have to sometimes, think crazy, think big, and that is where you unlock certain potential.
That's amazing.